Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for crafting chat number 2. I'm totally new to this podcast business for my knitting and crocheting projects, so please do bear with me. If you're joining me for the first time, thank you very much. I hope that you find this video of some interest. If you do, make sure you let me know by either leaving a comment or giving me a thumbs up, which is a like. I'm not sure how often I'm going to be uploading these types of videos, because I'm not really sure how many people are really that interested. So this is kind of a taste it and see series at the moment, and I'm calling these videos my crafting chat videos, so that you can easily identify that this is going to be about my knitting and crocheting. So if you're not into that kind of video, then you know just not to watch this one. Basically, my channel is primarily makeup related. So I am part of the panning community here on YouTube, and so that is where my focus has been on my videos up until now. This year I've decided I want to kind of take a little bit of a branch off and share with you another side to me, which is my crafting. So I knit. I have been a knitter for a number of years, but I had kind of hibernated my knitting for a good while, but I recently took up crocheting last year, which I'm self-taught via YouTube and books and stuff. So that's been an experience, and basically I wanted to do this crafting chat series just to share with you guys what I'm working on, what experiences I'm having with particular projects, and just to kind of share, get some feedback, you know, just interact with other people that are interested in this kind of crafting. So please do excuse me if I seem very unorganized. I am completely new to recording videos in relation to crafting. So I've watched a number of podcasts here on YouTube, and some of the ladies that do these are fabulously organised. They know what they're doing, they have structure and everything like that. At the moment I'm trying to kind of structure my thoughts, but I'm finding it a little bit more tricky. So please do bear with me. Hopefully over time I will get better at organising things into proper sections. But for the time being, I'm going to start off with my finished objects. In my last video, I shared with you a blanket that I was working on, which was a crochet project, and this was, I'm calling it my pink abstract blanket, and I partially completed it. I only had a little section left to do, and I've managed to finish it now. This is the blanket. See if I can show that. It's a rectangular shape. I'm not sure what size it is because I haven't actually measured it, but I think last time I was probably, where was I? I was up to here. It was this corner, I think, that I finished off. I bought some yarn to do this bit and this bit, and I finished it off. I'm really pleased with this. This is a corner to corner style blanket. I will leave a link in the description box below of my experiences with this project. I'm on Ravelry. I forgot to mention this. I'm on Ravelry as Ellinesscrafts. So if you're interested in getting more information about any of the projects that I mentioned, then do check out my Ravelry channel. I'll leave that in the description box below. But I'll link to the project via Ravelry for this in the description box below. I enjoyed doing this. It's a very easy crochet project. Like I said, it's a corner to corner blanket. So you start in one corner and then you just go like that. It goes outwards until you get the shape you want, and then you stop increasing and stop growing the blanket, and you just then start just crocheting to complete it basically. But I used a number of different colours of leftover yarn to finish this up, because I think I was doing this kind of came about because at Christmas time I was knitting a lot of scarves and gloves, and I decided that I had a lot of leftover yarn from this project, and these yarns are Stylecraft double knit yarns. I had a lot left over from those projects, and I decided to put them all in a blanket and just do this. Not sure who this is for at the moment, but I'm happy that I finished that. It feels like a huge achievement. I've also managed to finish up 2 other things. I'm hot on socks at the moment. Socks are my thing. Currently I've been teaching myself different variations. I started off with cuff down socks. I've gone on to toe up socks, and I've learnt the German short row heel, the what else, fish lips kiss heel I'm learning, and now I'm working on afterthought socks. So the last video I showed you these socks. These were a work in progress. These are socks for my daughter, and I think I used, did I use fish lips? That looks like the fish lip kiss heel I used for these. And this is the Starbright yarn by Regia design line. Again, I will link in the description box below my Ravelry link to this project. These were a little bit big on her calves, and although I used a 3.25 needle, I think it was, these came up quite big on the calves. So what I'd done just to get her to wear them was I managed to get hold of some elastic, and I watched a video on YouTube, and I've sewn the elastic through the socks so that they actually cling to her calves better, and she's a lot happier with them. So that is one completed item. I think Pen Hooks and Needles channel, they showed this off in their little intro section, and I'm really grateful to them for doing that. It made me feel so proud. Thank you, ladies. That's Talia and Marlisha on the Pen Hooks and Needles channel. I will again list their channel in the description box below, so you can check them out and their podcast. I also started, I don't think I started this last time, but I started this after that my last video, these socks. These are using the, what yarn is it? It's the Alsterman Step yarn. I bought these in my local yarn store, and I decided I wanted to do toe up socks again, and these were with the fish lip kiss heel. This is the fish lip kiss heel that I was teaching myself with these socks, and I think I did this a couple of times because I made a mistake on the first sock. I think it was a bit too long, because I'm starting to realise that I need to pay more attention to measurements in terms of the foot length, where to start the heel for these socks. With the cuff down ones, it was a lot easier because you just knit the cuff, then you knit the leg of the sock, then you do the heel, and then you measure as long as you need for your foot. You just keep going until you've reached like close enough to your toe and you think, right, okay, you need to decrease. But with the toe up, it's a little bit more tricky because you have to get that the length right so that the heel is started in the right position. So with this one, it was a little bit tricky because it was my first pair of toe up socks using the fish lips kiss heel, and it was a bit of a learning curve because I was trying to learn the heel, trying to learn where the placement should be, and also just trying to grapple with the yarn and the striping thing. They're not matching socks in that sense, because that's where the match would be. They're kind of off kilter, but I do really like these. They're very lovely and soft. These have been washed once already, and they may have fluffed up a little bit, but they're still lovely and soft. These are supposed to have aloe vera in them. There it is. It says on the label with aloe vera. These were around about £9, this yarn. But I've done this one pair of socks with this yarn. This was 100 grams, I think. Yes, 100 grams. So I've still got a little bit more in this. I could probably get, I don't know, a varied sock, maybe a stripy sock out of this with another colour. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure how to do those and how to gauge how much yarn I'm going to need. I haven't quite got to that stage where I'm thinking, right, I've got such and such amount of yarn left, I can get how many socks out of that. All I know is that I can get a pair of socks out of it, and then I've got leftover yarn. So if you guys have any tips, let me know in the comments section. So those are my two finished objects. My works in progress. Last time I showed you my sweater dress that I'm knitting for my daughter, and that is, this was the front. I've managed to complete the front of this, so it's quite long, and I wasn't sure with the self-striping thing whether or not I should just finish up the yarn and then start the back with the leftover yarn, because I weren't sure where the stripes were going to be. But then I just thought I would just leave what I have left to do the neck up here. So that's what I've done, and that was an easy knit. I've blocked this just to kind of make the edges a bit flatter so that when I come to sewing it all together it's easy enough to do. I've also started on the back of this, and that's where it is. I actually had to frog this because I did twice the amount that I've got here, and then I realised that I dropped a stitch way back down here, and it was really annoying. It was quite low down, so then I ended up, I thought I was going to be clever, and so I just picked up the stitch and brought it all the way up to where I was, but I noticed that it was very, very taut. My stitching here is very loose at the moment, probably because this is like a tester project for my continental style knitting and my flicking style knitting that I've been trying to teach myself. So my tension is a bit looser with this, so when I came to picking up the stitching along the side where I'd missed that stitch, it was so taut, it was showing. Even though I was manipulating it, it just wasn't working. So I decided, look, you have to do it, Lorraine, you're going to have to just undo it and start again. So I've done that. The problem was, I think what made me think that I'm going to have to frog it was the fact that this is actually the front of the dress, so there's no hiding it. The back I could probably have gotten away with. It was quite close to the seam, but I could probably have gotten away with it a lot easier if it was the back of the dress, but it's the front, and I just thought, I'm not going to like the end result, so I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and frog it. So that's what I've done. I just want to say a quick mention to the Pen Hooks and Needles channel. I saw them using these things on their knitting projects, and I wondered what they were, and I googled it and I've discovered that these are actually circular needle protectors that you slip onto your needles to protect the needles, but also to stop your knitting from falling off. And they make a bit of a clinky noise because they're metal and my needles are metal. But in case you're wondering, that's what they are, because I was watching Marlisha and Talia on their channel, and they kept taking these things off of their projects and talking about their projects, and I'm thinking, what are those metal things that they've got on their projects? And I mentioned it in a comment that I wondered what they were, and eventually I googled it and I found out that that's what they were, and I picked some up for myself, and I'm very pleased with how they look. They're quite cute, nice little accessory, but also they're very useful. So thank you Marlisha and Talia for showing those off in your videos, even though you didn't realise I was paying particular attention to those. Anyway, before my battery runs out, I have quite a short battery life on this camera. Next up, I have this project here that I've been working on. Sorry, let me move this aside. This is a new cast on, actually. This one is this cardigan. I bought this pattern and I wanted to do this jumper even, not cardigan. And my plan is to do the pattern on the front, but then leave the back and possibly the sleeves in plain stocking stitch. I'm not sure about the sleeves yet, I'm undecided, but that's what it looks like close up. And I cast this on last week, and I've only started, I think it's the back, no, this is the front. It would help if it was the front, wouldn't it? I'm sure that when I used to look at patterns when I was a lot younger, they always started a pattern off by showing you the back first, and then you worked on the front afterwards. But these days they seem to be, every pattern that I buy seems to start off by doing the front first, and I'm thinking that's a bit strange. Surely they used to do it the other way around. Anyway, there's more of these little hooky things. They come 3 in a pack, so, and they're not quite big enough for these needles. These are 6, I think. Yeah, these are 6mm needles. So this is a chunky knit project, and I have got this far with it. I did, what, a day. I worked on this for a day and a bit, and I've managed to do that far. I started off trying to learn the lace pattern. It was quite tricky to start with, so there are some mistakes in the bottom section, but by the time I got to the top section, I think I knew what I was doing a bit better, and so it looks a lot neater and more the way it's supposed to look for me. So I'm quite pleased with this. This is going to be quite a quick knit up jumper. It's bottom up, as you can probably tell, and I'm into this colour for some reason. I'm really into burgundy at the moment, and I wanted to have a jumper in that kind of colour, and so that's what I did. I bought these on, where did I buy this? I bought that on Woolwear, no, probably the Deramores website, not sure. I've been buying my yarn online because it's easier. So that's that. I'm kind of not halfway there, but that was the back of that. So that's one of my projects that I'm working on. I haven't done anything on that for a little while, but I need to pick that up soon. But because it's chunky, it knits up quite quick, so that's like an easy enough pattern to do. It's a nice kind of quick result type pattern. The next thing I've been working on is these. I wanted to try a pair of socks with a patterning on them, and I picked up Stacey Perry's, that's Very Pink Knits, pattern for short row, not short row, toe up lace socks, and yeah, it's going well. I have frogged it once already, or quite a few times actually. I'm this far with it. So it's plain stocking stitch on the, what do you call this, the bottom, the sole, and the instep is the pattern. I'll bring that a bit closer, you can see what the repeat pattern is. It's got like a, it kind of looks like a cable-y type pattern, and these, I was concerned that these look really narrow. This is in double knit and it looks really narrow and very tight, but I've tried it on my foot, putting it on bigger circulars. I've tried it on my foot and it fits nicely. I have frogged it once to get the length right for the bottom bit here, and I've frogged it a couple of times to get the patterning right, but I think I'm on the right track now. It's not a difficult pattern to do, but I have to think while I'm doing this, so it's not one of those mindless knits that you can do on the train or, you know, while you're watching TV. So I haven't really done a huge amount on this for a while, other than frogging it and trying to get this bit right, because I messed up the heel. For some reason I kept messing up the German short row heel that she has on this pattern, and I just couldn't get it right. Every time I did it, it came out wrong, so I frogged that probably about 5 times just to make sure I get that bit right. But I don't have too big a hole there now. I do have a little hole in the side, even though I've tried to tighten it up with stitches, but I'm going to have to sew that. But I'm pleased with the way it's looking so far, and this one's coming along nicely. Hopefully I'll have this finished very soon, but I'm enjoying that. The only thing I don't like about this is that I'm having to use double pointed needles because of the pattern. Trying to do this on my circulars was proving a little bit tricky, so I went back to using the double pointed needles. It's a lot easier for this project in particular. And this is the yarn I'm using. It's West Yorkshire Spinners Air Valley DK yarn. It's really nice purple colour. I quite like it. This is a 100-gram ball. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get, how many socks I'm going to get out of that, but we'll see. These are going to be ankle socks. I do have a bit of a problem on the back with ladder in here. You can probably see that. Probably I tightened it up slightly here as I realised that I was getting that ladder in. Hopefully it won't show so much. I mean, it's on the bottom of the sock, so it's not a big deal, and they're for me, so that's that. Another work in progress I've got so many things on the go just because I'm trying out so many different things. I am working on these socks. This is an improvisation. I wanted to do the afterthought heel, and so I was trying to use up the yarn left over from my daughter's socks to see if I could make another sock, and I didn't even think, it's just only after I took some photos of this that I thought to myself, do you know what, Lorraine, you should have done the toe in the grey that you've used here, and, you know, save some of the yarn, because I only have like this amount of yarn left now, and I've only just started the second foot. Not quite sure how that one's going to work out. Anyway, so these seem to have come up quite big in the calves despite being 60 stitches. Not quite sure how that happened. I think my tension was 8 stitches to an inch down here, and it's gone up to like 7.5 to an inch here. So my tension changed when I was doing the calves for some reason. So that's a bit odd. This is the Fish Lip Kiss heel. heel. I tried to do the SSK and knit two together type heel, and it was just so small. I tried it on and I didn't like it, so I ripped that out and decided to just insert the fish lip kiss heel. And now I like the fit of the heel, but I made a mistake with the Kitchener. I was doing the Kitchener stitch to attach it to the leg, and I messed it up somehow. I hope you can probably see that there. I did something wrong. I'm not quite sure what it was. I'm a stitch out or something, I don't know. And as a result of that, it's quite tight on the inside. When I put it on my foot, I can feel that heel. You can see it there. I'm thinking I'm going to end up ripping this out and doing the heel again, because it bugs me that I can feel that line on my heel. I kind of come to the conclusion that with the Kitchener, when I get around to doing that point, I think I need a quiet room. I need to just focus on what I'm doing and have no interruptions so I can get the Kitchener right. I have used the Kitchener stitch for other things, and it's not perfect. I still haven't managed to get a perfect Kitchener join for me, so it's a technique I'm going to have to learn. Actually, I can see it looks like I've got a stitch. Yeah, I've managed to miss a stitch. If you can see it there, it goes fine up until here, and then suddenly something goes a bit wrong around here. So I think I got interrupted and rushed and then messed up the rest of it. So not quite sure. If you've got any tips on the Kitchener stitch, let me know. So that's that. So I've done sock 1. I think I'm going to rip out the heel and try again, like I said, or I might just go back and try again doing the knit two together SSK type decrease, because I realised that I was watching a video today and I realised that that kind of heel, the reason my one didn't work out quite the way I wanted was because I didn't do any extra rows at the top of the heel before starting the heel. I went straight from here into putting the heel in, doing the decreases, and then it was just really small on the heel. For some reason, I'm expecting my heel to start there, my colour to start there and go down to be a nice big chunk of colour, but it just turned out to be this little bit right below the bit where my heel bends. I can't figure out another way to describe it, but the colour started in a smaller section than I thought it would be. The heel felt smaller, and that's because I didn't do any plain stitching once I joined in the round before I did the decreasing. And I watched a video and read some patterns, and they've described how they've actually worked in the round for the heel of about 11 rows before starting the decreases, and that I think is where I went wrong. So I'm going to try that at some point. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it on these socks, but I will try it at some point. And sock number 2 to this is this one. I'm using the same measurements and stuff, but I've noticed that because they only have this little bit of yarn left, I think I'm going to have to probably frog some of this back down to the toe and then start doing it in the grey, which is this Adria Feel yarn, which is what I've got for the heel here, and kind of improvise a bit just so I've got a pair of socks that have some of the same colours in, because I don't want to have to buy another one of these and then end up with more leftover yarn in this colour. So I'm trying to think of how to get around this, because I don't really want to frog this. If you've got any suggestions, leave them below. So those are those works in progress. I wanted to show you also my new yarn that I've bought recently. So this is going to be called Incoming. I have been shopping on the Wool Warehouse website, and I've been buying some sock yarn. This arrived yesterday, I think it was. These two I picked up at my local yarn store, and like I said, I've used this for the heel of the last sock. These are, I don't even know what they are, wool and nylon socks. Nothing special about these, but that's them. 50 gram balls each. I wanted to do some plain tone socks and do patterns, with these, but I'm having to use them for the heels in that pattern sock. So I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to have left over once I've done that. These I just picked up, Wool Warehouse, by the way. They send their wool in these cute little bags. They're kind of like netting, and I really like these for project bags. So they're quite handy. Anyway, so I picked up this Ball Crazy. This is, I think this was in the colourway Charisma. I will try and put the details below. I really like the colours of this. I like dark coloured socks to wear with my clothes for work, so I thought I would try this colourway. It's really pretty, nice and fluffy. It's very soft. What kind of mix is this? I don't know. Yeah, it's in the colourway Charisma. It says it on the inside. So this is virgin wool and nylon. It's got all the information on the little label. I just like the colours, so I thought I'd try it. And it's 4-ply, so that'll be interesting. This I picked up Regia Design Line because this one is Regia Design Line. I liked the texture of this, so I thought I'd buy another colourway, see how I get on with these. And that's what they should look like once I start working on these. Look out for those projects. I picked up 2 of these Drops Delight print yarns because I did some socks in these and I like the texture of them. Posted some pictures on my Instagram channel, and then my cousin asked me if I can make some for her. So I bought a couple more of these to make some socks for her. This is, I don't know what the name of the colour is, but it's 3350. And those are 50-gram balls of yarn. They are, what are these? These are quite cheap wool. This is wool and polyamide, so wool and nylon mix. They're really soft. They come up nice and fluffy. I like them, and they're not expensive. Something just over £2 for one ball. So those are quite good. And lastly, I picked up this. I think it's called Wood Pigeon. I saw pictures on. I was checking out colourways for the West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply yarn on Ravelry, and I liked the socks that were made out of this, and they were in the colourway Wood Pigeon, so I thought I would pick up a ball and see how I get on with this. That's what it looks like up close. It's really nice, kind of pinky, bluey, grey coloured yarn, and I think those will make a lovely pair of socks. So those are my new yarn buys, or my incoming yarn. I've been picking up needles as well. I've been using Addy circular needles for my socks. I've been enjoying these. I originally started buying the normal Addy socks, and then the nickel free, I think they are. Yeah, premium nickel free, which are, these are 30 centimetres. And they have, let's see, the 2 ends are the same. Both the same length. So that's fine. And then I discovered online, because these were difficult to find, that they do these Sock Wonder socks, and these are basically one needle is shorter than the other one. Where are they? Have I got that on? That's these ones. I've got these actually on the go. So that's the short end and that's the long end. Do you see? But what I noticed about these, I just got myself a needle gauge. I think I don't have it up there. Just got myself a needle gauge the other day because I was convinced that my size 3 Addies are not actually size 3, because every time I knit a pair of socks on 3s, they come up, these are 3mm by the way, they come up huge, too big for my feet. So I was convinced that they were the wrong measurement, but those ones are actually 3s. These, however, I discovered that this needle is, although it's supposed to be 2.5s, are they 2. Yeah, these are supposed to be 2.5mm. This needle is 2.5, but this one is 2.75. I'm not sure if that is deliberate, because this is like the leading needle. You start by, you knit off of this one, but this is the one you use to do the knitting. So I'm not sure if that's deliberate, but I'm not convinced that it is deliberate. These two, as far as I'm aware, should be the same size needles. They should both be 2.5mm, but this is 2.5 and this is 2.75. So I found that a bit mystifying, but I only discovered that yesterday. I've had these for a while. So not quite sure what to do with that information. But yeah, I'm liking the Addy Sock Wonder needles. I've heard a lot of people talk about other needles, but I've not seen them. Chartreuse or something like that. I can't remember what they're called, but some strange names. I've looked at higher sharps and online, and I've kind of decided, people have said that those are very sharp needles, so I decided not to buy sharps for my knitting. But yeah, those are the things I wanted to talk to you about. Like I said, I've been working on socks mainly. I'm trying to see which different techniques I prefer. So I've tried toe up, I've tried cuff down, I've tried different heels. I'm not convinced that I like the afterthought heel, but I've yet to make a firm decision on that. Once I've finished the afterthought heel, maybe once I've done a couple of pairs of those, then I'll decide whether or not I actually do want to bother to continue doing them. I like the fact that you can knit them from the bottom up and just knit a whole sock without doing the heel, and then you stick the heel in afterwards. So it's just plain knitting until you get to the length you want. But I'm not enjoying putting the heel in afterwards. I'm finding that the tricky bit. So whether or not I continue to do loads of those, I'm not sure. But yeah, that is it, I think. Those are all the things I wanted to talk to you about. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. I don't know what else to say, really. Thank you for watching this video to the end. I hope it's been interesting for you. If it has, let me know. If it's something that, if there's more information you'd like me to provide in these types of videos, then let me know as well, because like I said, I'm learning. This is new to me. I do want to try and give as much information as I can in these videos, but I haven't quite perfected my format for these videos yet, and it kind of depends on how people like these videos on my channel. So let me know, give me some feedback in the comments section below. But until next time, thank you very much for joining me. You can check out my Ravelry projects on Ravelry.com. My username is Ellinesscrafts, so do check that out. Also, I'm on Instagram, Ellinesscrafts, where I post pictures of my projects. Some of them, my cast-ons. I'm trying to do more finished objects on Instagram, because those tend to be looked at a bit more often. But yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.